let's just touch base on a few mortgage myths. What are some mortgage myths? You touched on one earlier. You don't have to put 20% down. So that's one. Give me something else.
One of the biggest myths is about credit pull. So one of the biggest hesitations I have when people call me is it going to be a hard pull on my credit? Right. And yes, it is going to be a hard pull on your credit. But normally, first of all, the inquiries only make up about 10% of your credit score. Right. And unless you have had multiple pulls of you've bought a car, you opened a credit card, that mortgage pull is going to affect you very little, if at all, maybe 5 to 7 points.
And when you pull, you're pulling all three bureaus, right? Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
By the way, what score do y'all take of those three?
So we use the middle score for qualification purposes. Okay. And also, a lot of people will call and say, well, Credit Karma said my score was 600 and you're saying it's 550. And there is a discrepancy.
Right.
There's a big difference between what you're seeing online. A mortgage pull is a different algorithm, so your mortgage scores tend to be a little bit lower than what you might be seeing on your credit card statements or on Credit Karma.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you can go to Experian and there's different versions of your Experian score. Yeah. If I go to the car dealership, there's an auto pull, there's a mortgage pull. So, there's Advantage 3.0 or whatever.
Yes, that's a new one.
So yeah, you can, and 3.0 may be wrong, but you can definitely get varying scores. And Credit Karma is great to go get just basic information, but the score generally is not. I know that when I pull that, it's different than when I go see on my Experian app.
Right.
So, okay, any other mortgage myths you want to throw out there?
Well, we talked about not having to put 20% down, but on the flip side of that, sometimes I'll be working with someone on a pre-approval and I'll say, what do you have available? What are your funds available? And they'll tell me nothing. So in a perfect situation where the stars align with where maybe you have down payment assistance and seller contributions, you could possibly get in with no money, but pretty much 95% of the time you're going to have some funds towards a transaction, either your down payment or a portion of your closing costs. So
I think what I would tell people is don't be scared to reach out to a lender. I think oftentimes first-time home buyers or people who are just not familiar with the credit process, they stick their head in the sand. I mean, again, when I bought my first house in 1997, it was a $99,000 house here in Clear Lake, and I just didn't know, but I knew what I was paying in rent. Right. And that's the other thing. These rents are outrageous. You're paying $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 a month. So what I would say is reach out to a lender, reach out to Laura specifically, and give her a shot to see if she can help you get into a home. The other thing is these last couple of years, there's been a lot of buyers on the sidelines because some of them feel like they couldn't compete in the market that we were in. And so the market's, obviously softened up from where it was a couple of years ago in terms of competitiveness. So don't be fearful, right, at the end of the day.
No, I agree. And you saying that putting your head in the sand, I see it all the time. And people just don't know, and that's the discussion that I have with them. Let's just take a look. Like I talked about before, let's get the baseline because I see both sides. I see people that think that they would never be able to qualify, and we go through their pre-approval process, and they're ready to go, and they're in a home in 30 days. And then I have some people that think they might be fine, and oh my goodness, we had a collection that popped up, and I need to deal with this. And but we can work on getting them ready, and get them moving forward. So yeah.
Well, look, we're going to wrap things up. That's kind of an intro on the mortgage side. We're going to do more of these, like I said earlier. Big thanks to Ms. Laura Haynes, who she's always dressed to the nines. In another life, she's a Mary Kay lady. Actually, she's a friend of someone I used to work with before I was in someone completely different than we talked about
Small
earlier.
world.
A lady I worked with before who's still in Mary Kay, Miss Lisa. So anyways, Laura's always looking fab. So stay tuned. We'll have more for you. This is just kind of the beginning of our podcast here on the Hub. Thank you guys very much, and have a great day.